The Justice Department is dropping plans for sweeping police reforms driven by the murder of George Floyd. It is ending what the Trump administration calls the failed experiment of handcuffing local leaders and police departments with factually unjustified consent decrees. Minneapolis welcomed federal oversight earlier this year after a blistering report uncovered racist policing in the city. But the new administration moved to drop the case today, citing what it called overbroad orders, often with anti-police agendas. The decision comes just days before the world marks 5 years since Floyd's death sparked protests, riots, and racial justice movement. City leaders say a similar reform agreement with the state means the call for change will not go unanswered.
Neither Trump nor anyone in Washington can stop us from doing this work that we are indeed committed to.
We have been and we remain committed to real, lasting change, both for our residents and for the men and women who serve here.
Former Police Chief Medaria Arradondo led the department through the challenges that followed George Floyd's murder. 5 years later, he spoke to Reg Chapman about today's decision and how decades of community input laid the groundwork for a better future.
I think Minneapolis is positioned to move the work forward.
Former Minneapolis Police Chief Medaria Arradondo says it's important for people to understand the history of police reform in the city of Minneapolis.
It was back in 2003 that the city of Minneapolis, Minneapolis Police Department, and then the Police Community Relations Council, which is now the Unity Community Mediation Team, headed under the leadership of Reverend Ian Bethel, they laid out an absolute groundbreaking, innovative memorandum of agreement with the Minneapolis Police Department that really touches on a lot of the key points that, quite frankly, a federal consent decree would have enacted anyway. Use of force, de-escalation, education, cultural competency, recruitment, rehiring. They were talking about officer mental wellness long before we were hearing it today.
Nikemi Levy-Armstrong is a police accountability activist. She says the community needs to continue to use their voices and apply pressure where needed when it comes to police reform.
One of the things that is a positive for our city is the fact that the Minnesota Department of Human Rights undertook an investigation of the Minneapolis Police Department after George Floyd was murdered, and they entered into a consent decree with the city of Minneapolis, which has been in place now for 2 years.
Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey promises to continue the work on police reform. It's a promise Levy-Armstrong plans to make sure he sticks to.
He claims that they will implement the terms of the federal consent decree even without federal oversight. However, we need to hold him to account for the promises that he made.
In Minneapolis with photojournalist Chris Cruz, Reg Chapman, WCCO News.
In a statement to WCCO, the police union said that it hopes to move forward with reforms that are, quote, driven by the realities of policing, not just politics or headlines. Stay with WCCO News for continuing coverage of this unfolding story tonight at 10.